So last year, right, when you do this kind of solving, sine x is equal to 0.5, you are simply required to do your sine inverse. So this was what you learned last year. Remember, I only need you to remember your sine inverse and you can get the answer. But right now, you may have more than one answer. So why is that possible? Because now they are going to tell you that here, this can be a acute angle or obtuse angle. So right now they are telling you that the angle that you find can be an obtuse angle or can be an acute angle. So if you observe the first question, sine theta is 0.5. So what is your interpretation? Okay, you interpret it as the value of sine is positive. And if you look at the relationship, this is positive under acute angle. This is also positive under the obtuse angle. So which also meant that, right, theta can be positive or negative. Sorry, theta can be acute or obtuse. So how are you going to get two answers? So you do what you normally do. You will get the acute answer. So, but it can also be obtuse. So theta can also be 180 minus this. So there are actually two possible answers. So hopefully you remember that there's a relationship between the acute angle and the obtuse angle. So remember I gave you a relationship here. So if this is an obtuse angle, then the side by side will be the acute angle, which also meant that acute angle plus the obtuse angle will be 180 degrees. Okay, so if you go and explore this, you realize that you got two answers because the value of sine is positive and it could be positive under the first quadrant. It could also be positive under the second quadrant. But if you try to explore the cosine theta is positive. You look under the relationship, only cosine is positive under the acute angle. So, which also means that, right, theta can only be positive, can only be acute. So therefore, theta is just this. In A math, you can have 4 answers, 6 answers. You can have a lot more answers for A math. So this is just a basic idea first. So you get 35.7 degrees. So you got to decide whether the answer that you are going to obtain will be acute or obtuse, or it can be both. So if you look at the next one, cosine is negative. So the value of cosine theta is negative. So if you look, I'm expecting it to be an obtuse angle. So you look at the value of positive and negative, you can decide whether it will be acute or it can be an obtuse angle. So in this case, right, how are you going to find the obtuse angle? This is how I will find my obtuse angle. So I don't know whether you all realize I ignore the negative in the pressing of the angle. So I ignore the negative. This is what we will call the reference angle in AMAP. So this part, some people will feel a bit confusing. So the answer that you got will not be like last year, just directly press the inverse. You got to decide whether you will want it to be acute angle or you want it to be an obtuse angle. So it is based on the relationship that you decide. Will it be acute only, or will it be obtuse only, or will it be both? Okay, so all the relationship is on the A and the S relationship. All are positive in the first quadrant, sign positive in the second quadrant. So in exam, they will ask you such a simple question. Then maybe you are given 1 mark or 2 marks based on this.